Dude, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm glad I'm back. It's been, 2.5?
About 2.5 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And then right after you were here, I think I was seeing that you were streaming from a hospital bed with COVID and shit. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
Just shitty immune system. My oxygen was down to 74, which,
Wow.
pretty close to dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty close to dead. And, since COVID, I've recovered, I would say, 95%. The breathing, people don't realize, like, if you have like a long-term, like, not long-term, but if you have a pre-existing health condition,
Yeah.
A weakened immune system, you don't recover 100% all the time.
What is that long COVID? Is that a real thing?
It's a thing for me, man.
Are you feeling like
yeah. I had asthma. I've had asthma, but I know that my asthma has been significantly different since then. So, but you know what, man? I'm here, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you are.
You know what I mean?
Well, I know when I saw some of that stuff, I think I exchanged a couple messages from you while you were in there. Like the first couple of days, you thought it was fucking pretty scary.
Yeah, so at the time I was dating this girl, and
doesn't every great story start out with that?
Yeah. Hey, when I was happy, I was. No, I was with my girlfriend for 4 years, and I just remember. I was sick. She wasn't.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I think I have COVID. I'm not sure yet. So I was like, can you take me to the hospital?
Yeah, but you were higher risk, though.
Yeah, high risk. So I get taken to the hospital. She takes me to the hospital. They're like, yeah, you have COVID. My oxygen was down to 87. And then they sent me home. And they were like, hey, listen. They were like, if your oxygen goes below 89, come back. And I was like, it's at 87 now. So, like, why would I come back? And so
that's nuts.
Yeah, something was weird, and I'm not going to get into like where it was and everything like that.
I understand
because I don't want to throw them under the bus. But I talked to my PCP, and she said to me, she's like, "Hey, why'd you get released so early? You feeling better?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, we just were concerned because of your oxygen levels and the fact that you have double pneumonia on top of COVID." And I was like, "Oh."
Fantastic.
That would have been cool if somebody told me that I had that and fluid under my lungs. And she was like, they didn't tell you that? And I was like, no. And I was like, okay. And like, what did they do treatment-wise? I go, nothing. They told me that they couldn't give me a breathing treatment because I had COVID and I would spread it around everywhere. Something like that.
That was the thing? I didn't know that.
I
didn't know that.
And so I just remember like 2-3 days later, I was like, babe, I don't feel good. I was like, I want to go to the hospital. And I'm very stubborn, even though like I'm kind of a hypochondriac with like cancer related things. Mm-hmm. But like with asthma, I'm just like, I'm used to this. I've had like the asthma attacks, but I was like, I'm really weak. And so when I went to go shower, I almost passed out because of how hot the shower was.
No shit.
I was like, we got to go. And so we checked my oxygen. I was down to 74. And when I go to the hospital, I sit down and I try to get a wheelchair, and they're like, they're not for people like you. And what the fuck does that mean? I was like, if not,
they've seen your show.
Yeah, if not me, who are these for? And so Justine, was terrified, and I was like, dude, I was like, fuck this. So we walk into the ER. She can't come in. She can't come in with me.
Yeah.
Really. She'd go in the waiting room and that was it.
Yeah.
So I was like, this won't be long because like there was a long waiting list. But if you have
So you thought they'd cut you loose after a while.
Well, I thought that I would be able to be treated before everybody else, but then I saw the waiting line. I go, I gotta be Matt Light. And I go, hey, I have fucking COVID. I'll cough on everybody right now. Dude, as soon as I did that, no paperwork. They sat me in the wheelchair that they didn't give me originally. They fucking pushed me out. I had my own room. They ripped my shirt off like George Clooney in ER from like circa 96. They put all this oxygen, all this shit on me. They're putting the mask on me, the finger things, the chest things. And this guy comes up and he's like, hey, I need you to fill out this paperwork. And the doctor's like, get the fuck out of here right now. Because my oxygen was so bad. And immediately I knew something was wrong because I went from like being in that room for like maybe 20 minutes to like, you're up there. We're just taking you straight up to a room. And originally I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I got out in 5 days, which for me was awesome. But like, it was a whole different experience. They came in with like fucking Ghostbusters, spaceship, astronaut costumes.
Things were different then.
It was nuts, man. All I remember too is the food was terrible. So I would DoorDash. to my hotel room.
Is that permitted?
Well, it was for me because I said, "Listen, I can't get it.
Who'd you bribe?
You have to get it." I don't know. I just called Five Guys on the DoorDash app, and I had the buzzer, and I was like, "Hey, Five Guys is downstairs." She's like, "It's not directly downstairs." I go, "It's not my problem. You're not letting me go anywhere. You got to go get it." And
don't they have you on a restricted diet while you're in there?
At this point, they don't care. They just want you to live. Okay. They're like, "We'll just give you oxygen."
Okay, we'll deal with the cardiovascular shit later.
The problem was the actual baths. I had to take what's called a bag bath, where they put like some powder and liquid into a bag and you wash yourself, because I wasn't strong enough to stand for a couple of days, and I smelled so bad. Like I felt so like the girl was like, "She's in here," and I'm like, "Listen, I know I'm fucking disgusting." I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "Matt, you're fine. Like there's a lot grosser people than this, right?" Then you're on all these wires, and like I'm 31 at the time. I'm an active guy in certain areas. I'm like, how do I? You know what I mean? Because you don't know when they're going to come in either. So like,
how's that work exactly?
I had all these wires. And I went sideways and just did my thing. It doesn't matter. I got it done. But then like the guy next to me kept singing Jesus songs. And I'm not anti-religion at all. I don't care what song you're singing. It could be my favorite song. You could be singing Hootie and the Blowfish. You're singing at 4 a.m. as loud as you can. And he's like singing Jesus songs. And I just remember screaming. I pounded my little coffee table or whatever, my tray table. I go, "Hey, if you keep singing about Jesus, you're going to fucking meet him real soon." And I kept hitting the buzzer. I was like, "You need to tell this dude to quit singing like that." And they're like, "Oh, he got really bad news." I go, "He's going to have worse fucking news." Meanwhile, he didn't even have bad news. He like lost like fantasy football or something stupid like that. Yeah, it was so stupid.
That could be bad news.
Yeah, whatever.
Depending on the circumstances.
Yeah. So that was it. And then I was under oxygen for 3 months.
At home?
Yeah, at home.
Then did you get out a little bit?
No, I like when I had oxygen in, I like didn't leave the house because I had. Damn. It wasn't like they have like the tanks, but I used the actual machine that would like make fake oxygen or whatever.
Yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah, the good stuff. And so I had that, and I mean after that, like it was crazy. Like as soon as I was starting to feel better, broke up with my girlfriend. I wasn't like, "Hey, I'm better. See you later." We just like it was time. Yeah. And I think we left on good terms, which is cool. But so I moved from North Hills. I'm in Brentwood now. Mm-hmm. And Brentwood, South Hills sucks.
Traffic.
It's just 51 is the worst. Like if
19's not
if I were to rank numbers, I think 51 is worse than 9/11. Like as far as things that have affected my life.
In this town?
Yes.
It might be. Yeah. It might be.
Yeah, never forget 51 traffic. That's what I feel like.
19's bad too. At least it used to be.
28's terrible. They're redoing that bad. Again.
They're always redoing.
We've been on I always appreciated the sign that said "Slow down, my daddy works here." You know, the construction sign. Because I would be like, "Well, where the fuck is he?" Because I've never seen him anywhere. You guys are never on the road. Can we fire this guy? Fuck your dad. And he's not getting workman's comp either. You know.
Man, you got. What was the first real show back where you looked out to the crowd and you said, "Hey, I kind of somewhat feels like the before times," you know, or haven't we got there yet?
As far as post COVID, when I was like, "We're back."
Yeah, like I mean, where you had a feeling like because some people were coming on, or musicians especially, saying that I look out, we're not back yet.
So I kind of got my feet wet, kind of early on. I was doing secret shows. And I was just trying to get my reps in. And what I realized is like the crowds are different. And what I also realized is I didn't want to write about COVID because everybody has the same jokes. "Oh, you look uglier with the mask off."
Kind of like Foxtail now, right?
Yeah. Like, oh my God.
We're going there. Don't worry.
Well, you got your water. You going to shoot it out of you? Oh my God.
I'm not that skilled, man.
Oh man. So it was actually my first show back at the Improv. The first dirt back. It was July of last year, and fucking the ovation that I got when I came out. Like,
I'm not surprised.
Everybody was like, "Let's do this." It was cool. The night took a turn for the worse, though. This was like supposed to. Dude, I don't even care.
So was it like September of last year?
August. I'm sorry, July.
So July 2021.
July 2021 was the first, like, because it was like 16 months since I've been at the Improv. And so we had a big promo. Like I did a preview video about like how everything was shut down, news clips, and then like me coming out. People like, fuck yeah. So I was like, okay, we're back. Everybody's on board. And I remember, so I do this show. I'm talking to this girl. We're not dating, but we're talking, right?
Okay.
Because she still had her ex involved, and like, but it was an ex, and it was a thing where it's like, blah blah blah.
But he was still involved.
But he was involved, and I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't expect to date you anyways. You're moving to London. Like, I just want to hang out. We're having fun, whatever. Well, anyways, we went to Cheerleaders afterwards, and she makes out with one of my best friends when I left, and I was like, oh. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. It gets worse. I dated this girl after that for months. Like I literally just stopped talking to her in like March. So I mean, we've been cool, but we quit dating around March, and she was in London. So it's been a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those very forgiving guys. And I think what the reason why is the last relationship I told you about, I was really immature. I was very comfortable to where like work from home for me was always work from home because
Right.
you're a comedian.
Of course.
But when it's work from home for both of us, like I wasn't working and I was just going on Facebook Live doing power hours. And I would just drink and party with people on Facebook.
That was working out pretty well for you though during COVID.
I was
right?
making $600 a night and I was doing it every night.
Right.
But my girlfriend was like, "You're a fucking mess. You're blacked out. You're puking. You're just slurring your words.
But I'm making $600 a night.
But that's my point." And then and she was like, "Okay, fine." But like eventually, it became where like I'm sleeping till 4 p.m. I'm not cleaning. I'm not doing dishes. I'm not carrying my weight.
So she gave you a taste of your own medicine.
Right. And I fucked up. Like, and I know that I was very lazy in that relationship. And I promised myself that I ever got into another relationship, I would make sure I went through all the outlets. I did everything I could before I move on.
Okay.
And that's kind of like where I was at in this relationship. I would say I was a pushover at many times, this previous one. And I just was like, you know what, though? I'm happy. Even though, like, a lot of my friends were pissed off at me dealing with it. I was like, listen, though, I needed to do this for me. Right. I needed to make sure that I did everything I could. I was as good as a person as I could be for this one. And it didn't work out. And I can walk away with my head held
No, I
high.
get that.
You know, it's kind
that.
of my redemption story.
I get that. Well, what is it about uber successful comedians though? And you guys have got that unique skill, but then on the relationship game, it's usually fucking torture. Almost blanket. I mean, I'm making a blanket statement. It's almost accurate.
Well, I'll tell you about mine. I get a lot of attention. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. But what I always try and explain to somebody that I date, and I tell them this very early on, I go, hey, listen, there's going to be girls that are going to flirt with me. There's girls that are going to slide in my DMs. There's going to be girls that like they want to be a part of everything. I go, but understand that when we do pictures, when signing or selling merch, you're there with me from the beginning to the end. If I'm on the road or whatever, I FaceTime you before I go to bed. Like, and also when I'm doing these home shows, I come home to you. I go, there's the difference between Matt and Matt Light. They're the same person, but it's kind of different.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's a character you put on. And I think it's hard for a lot of them to understand that, like, I'm not flirting. I'm promoting what I do. And for me, my biggest thing was that I think girls are like, oh, this girl wants to fuck. Whether they do or they don't, who cares?
Right.
If I don't want to, like
Then it stops there.
Yeah, dude, in my opinion, every girl I've ever dated looks wise was out of my league. If you compare their looks to my looks, I think they're so much out of my league. And I'm grateful for that. So I know that there's guys that want to fucking hook up with them, but I don't care because I'm with them for a reason. They're with me for a reason.
Right.
So I just wish that the same thing could be reciprocated on my end. But I think the thing is,
Good luck with that.
unless you're in entertainment, that doesn't happen to guys.
Right. It's not a normal event.
Right. Like you're just not an accountant and you're worried about, Bob getting his dick sucked at work. Really. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
I don't know. So I think
Different
trust,
game.
man.
It's a different game.
But I try and be as transparent as possible. Like, you want to go through my phone? I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. You know what I mean? I go, but like there's the persona where like I act like this single idiot, but I'll post you on social media if you want to be on there, but I don't because I get weird fucking creepy stalkers.
Probably.
Like, yeah.
Probably.
So it's just
yeah, I mean, it's a burden, but you can carry it.
Yeah, and I think too, like another thing why comedian relationships don't work out too is we are very honest on stage. And then I think sometimes we bring things in real life that maybe they don't want to hear. I know that, like, my ex was worried that you know, all my parents want to come see you perform, but you talk about dick and cock and pussy. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, that's my thing, you know? and she's like, well, I don't know if she's going to laugh. And I've done this with a handful of girls that I've dated. And I go, just bring them. Trust me. It'll be fine. And they love it. They're fine because they can separate the two.
Yeah.
But I think when you're intimate and you're actually in a relationship with that person, it's hard for them to separate.
So you acknowledge it is a character. Then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I go out, I have fun and stuff, but, like, I act a lot dumber on stage than I am in real life.
Certainly.
You have to. Because if I'm not vulnerable, I can't make fun of everybody else.
Certainly.
And I have to drop my guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's, I mean, Matt, like, you've never met the new Matt. Like, I have a day job now. Like, I work a 9 to 5. And it's not because I don't make enough money doing stand-up. You're
looking for material.
I'm looking for material. I'm just more motivated, man.
Right
you know,
on.
I'm 33 years old.
Right
I'm like,
on.
there's money to be made right now.
Sure.
Why am I wasting my time?
In your earning years, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I got this mindset because one of my best friends wrestles at AEW.
Okay.
Her name's Britt Baker.
Okay.
And her gimmick is she's a dentist. But she's really a fucking dentist. Like, she's the
in
most...
real life.
Yes. And, like, this is a girl who is the most popular professional wrestler right now, female, in the world. Bar none. She's most popular. And she, clearly, if you're the number one...
Yeah.
You make the number one money.
Yeah, you're getting paid.
You're getting paid. She does her appearances. She does her meet and greets. She, you know, does everything she can. And she still practiced... how would you say? Dentistry? She does it 2-3 times a week. How?
Well, she spent a lot of time in college for that.
Well, and that's what
passion, right?
and that's what, and I said, why? I said, why do you do it? And she goes, because I can. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she said that made me realize, if this girl's on TV, she's traveling the city after city after city, and she still goes home, takes a red eye, wakes up, and works on people's mouths twice a week. Why can't I work a day job here? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think having successful people around you that are motivated, that are driven, is that kick in the ass you need.
Yeah.
So
you familiar with Cameron Haynes? Name ring a bell?
Steeler?
No, that's Cameron Haywood.
Well, I know Hayward, but Cameron
Haynes.
Haynes.
No. It's one of Rogan and David Goggins' buddies, one of those ultra marathon guys, big bow hunter, all that stuff.
America.
Writing books, making a ton of money doing it. But the guy does all that and still maintains like a normal 40-hour week as like I think he's in charge of the water department in this rural communities, and he still works a 40-hour week, which makes all the rest of that unbelievable. Yeah. But his whole thing is that level of professionalism, maintain that. He's still kicking my ass every day. Yeah. And it keeps me grounded.
And it's humbling, it's grounded. And, and when was it? Why is it not cool to fucking work all of a sudden?
That's a pandemic thing, man.
Like, why is it not like people are like, you work that much? Yeah, because I want to, man.
It's a 2020 thing.
Yeah, sure. I've been lazy. Like, trust me, I've been the laziest person my whole life. But like, as I've been working harder and stuff, and I'm doing different things outside of comedy and different projects, I don't even have time to think about it.
You're happier.
I'm so much happier, dude.
Life's better.
Life's so much better because I can control everything in front of me now. Mm-hmm. It's just a whole different ball game, dude, and I love it. Like I don't think I've ever been this happy in my life, honestly.
And you've probably never been as busy as you are now.
Never been as busy, but I get motivated because I'm like, I do a sales job. I sell payroll, and I hit my quota. I hit like 160% the first 2 months I've been there so far. Right on. And I'm like, I want to get 200 next month. Even if there's a cap on my bonus, I don't give a fuck. Like I know that I can do more things. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different person.
Let me ask you this. Do you find it, being that you have all this extra activity, which forces you to be more disciplined, right? Do you find it easier to write through that?
Oh, I haven't written forever.
Okay.
I think that's always been one of my biggest problems.
How do we classify writing exactly?
Well, I write on stage. So if something comes up in my life, I'll write like the idea of it, and I'll write some bullet points to mention, like words, and I'll go, all right, talk about this on stage. But like I've never been a writer, and like Chris D'Elia, he doesn't write. I don't write jokes. Because it's not me. I'm not like, hey, what's the difference? I talk about life. So I think the way that I've been able to write since my cancer years is I live by one rule, and it's don't say no. I just don't say no to anything because here's what happens.
You're here tonight.
Either I have a great night, right? We have a great time. I have a great experience.
Yeah.
Or it's a fucking disaster and I get to talk about it on stage. It's win-win for me.
You got material.
Yeah.
It's baked in.
Dude, like, so for example, like this all like, I remember I went to Wrestlemania.
Okay.
I went to Wrestlemania in 2017.
Okay.
And I went with a fan who was a big fan of mine from Canada. Never met them. They'd never seen me perform live. But they knew I toured with Rob Van Dam. They were like, oh, it's great. She was like, Matt, I want you to come to WrestleMania with me. Do you have tickets? And I was like, I don't have tickets. I can't really afford to drop $7,000 in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
She goes, what if I bought your ticket? What if I paid for your flight? You could stay with me. Will you go? What would you do?
I'd be there.
I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll go. My buddy's like, are you insane? What if she kills you? I go, who gives a shit?
I'll take a chance.
I was like, life sucks anyways, and I've never been to WrestleMania. Like, this is the greatest thing in the world. And so it was one of those things, too, where I was like, all right, if I go to this, I have to sleep with her, right?
Well, it should be a requirement, I would think, right?
Because, like, you know, like, I was like, well, I mean, if I was a guy and I had a girl go on vacation with me for 4 days, I would expect us to have some sort of flirtation, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Right?
So, yeah.
I'm not saying, like, hey, you don't come here. I don't mean it like that. Like, I don't want to get canceled. But my thing is, if you're comfortable.
They're still doing that shit?
If a female is comfortable going with a male.
Yeah.
On vacation that she's never met before.
And she's paying his way.
Right. Like I would assume she wanted to.
Yeah.
So I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't. Fuck. Wasn't attracted to her at all.
Here we go.
And I was like, you know what though? Like.
Did you know what she looked like before you went?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I was okay with it because I knew it wasn't catfish material. Like it wasn't a 9 or a 10 where I'm like, oh, it's probably a guy that's gonna chop me up and throw my fucking organs in the ocean. You know, it was a girl that I go, oh, I definitely could fuck her. You know what I mean? It was a girl that for me, I was out of her league. I felt like.
Okay.
And she's gonna hear this probably, but it's
probably.
Okay. It's okay. And so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna sleep with her, and I did. And so so afterwards, I told my buddy about this, and my girlfriends are all there, you know, like because I have more girlfriends than I do have guy friends,
right on.
And I'm telling them this story, and she's like, "Now you know what it's like when you go out on a date with a guy and they expect to have sex with you, and you have to sleep with them." I was like, "Whoa, we are not the same, okay? Like I fucked a girl to watch the Undertaker's last match at WrestleMania. You suck dick for 2 for $22 at Applebee's. like the bar is way different here, okay? Like fuck you and your bottomless mimosas, okay? Like I got to see Chris Jericho. Like shut up.
Shit, man. Well, I mean, it was a trip, right?
It was the best
for free.
But it was worth it. Oh, you get to have sex and get money.
So what became unattractive about her? I mean, like
just her looks.
But they were okay to get there. Oh, they weren't.
No, the trip to WrestleMania was worth it.
All right.
You don't think girls do the same thing? Come on, look at every old guy, ugly fucking dude in a relationship with a hot chick. They know I'm going for perks. I'm going for money. I went for the WrestleMania experience, and that was it.
Isn't that Rupert Murdoch, right? He just was married. He just, what was that young girl? Oh, shit, Jerry Hall. Well, she isn't really young anymore, but compared to him, she's way young.
So fuck it.
I mean, I was looking at that. Like, I mean, how more outward of a signal are you giving the world?
Well, and you know,
on both sides.
And you know what, though, too, is I'm so tired of hearing people say, like, oh, well, you only fuck him because he has money. Or, like, you only fuck him because of X, Y, Z. Who cares why? Or because he's a comedian. Because let me explain something.
No one's business.
Well, here's my thing. If you're only sleeping with somebody because they're hot, they didn't earn any of that. They would just naturally...
Genetics.
Right. Naturally genetics. If anything, that's the most obnoxious thing. Oh, you only fuck me because I'm a comedian? Well, guess what? I earned that. I had to be funny to be that. So, yeah, like, I deserve that because I wasn't handed...
You put some effort into it.
Yeah. Like, I'm 5'5.5". I had to do something, bro. You know, or like girls are like, you fuck this guy because he's rich. Well, he's rich because he won at life. Fuck a winner, not a guy that just has good genetics because his dad broke his arm as star quarterback in 1953. What the fuck?
Yeah, he put some effort into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
qualifications.
if you earn it, like, fuck it.
There's a resume out there, right?
Yeah. My resume is probably terrible.
You can't believe you got a day job. I think that's pretty impressive.
I love it, man.
It's impressive, man.
And I had one before this, and I just remember waking up every morning. I would go to bed late, so late, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., because I didn't want to wake up. Because I knew when I woke up, I knew when I closed my eyes, the next time my eyes open up, I have to go to this fucking place.
That bad you hated it.
I had anxiety. I was depressed. I would.
Were you selling shoes? What the fuck
I worked
were you
at a
selling?
bank.
Okay.
And I remember sitting in the parking lot, just I'd be early because I had to get my thoughts together going, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like, and I was so stressed.
Like a teller.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a relationship banker is what they call it. It's a glorified teller.
Okay.
With sales opportunities where you get paid in points.
Okay.
Tell my fucking landlord that, hey, excuse me, Bruce, listen, hey, I can't make rent this month, but what I can do, I have 800 Bank of America points. I don't know if that does anything for you. I can't believe I said the bank. Fuck them. I don't care. I don't care. That ended abruptly. I got sick. We won't talk about that, but fuck them. Fuck working in banking. I'll never do it again.
I mean, Zidell used to told me he was like hauling asbestos out of places for a while. I mean, that's some.
Well, he's had worse chemicals around him, so
It's pretty obvious.
I think asbestos. He's the only one that got better from it. He's like, oh my god, algebra. That sounds fun. Let's learn that.
He ate that shit for breakfast, man.
Yeah. I love Mike, dude. He's the best.
Yeah, he was just on. And I told him you were coming on. He's like, dude, man, Matt Light's the reason. He's my inspiration. I guess Mike, in a serious moment, was talking about how he was depressed and he would always hit you up and you would give him. You kind of like walk him back. You know what I mean,
I've been there, man. I think depression has, I think, been so realistic for everybody since COVID.
Yeah.
When I mentioned I broke up with my girlfriend in 2021. Mm-hmm. And I moved to the South Hills from the North Hills. I didn't know anybody. I was with this girl for 4 years. I lived with her.
Right.
And to just go from that to completely nothing, to lose the house you guys bought together, you just feel
it's
like
seismic.
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't want to be here anymore. Like, I wasn't like gonna do anything. Mm-hmm. But if there was like a way where I'd be like, I'm not gonna wake up, I'm okay with it. Like, I would have been fine with it. It was bad, man. I was really depressed. I was upset, and just, it took a lot of time for me to get out of that. I remember, I don't think I slept over my own house for the first 4 months. Damn. I would stay with my buddies because I hated being alone.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing ever, man. It fucked me up, and it's not their fault. It was just like everything just crashed all at once for me, and I was never used to that. And I've been through shit.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
But I think it's one of those things where I was at a point in my life where I was like, okay, I know I'm going to overcome this. I know I'll be fine. But how many times am I going to have to say that? Like, I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to overcome that. Mm-hmm. When can I just be fucking happy? Mm-hmm. And eventually, when I started to do more things for myself and I didn't rely on others, I learned how to be independent. Like I am now.
You found that within.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, never been happier. And so, like, when there are people that are depressed, I'm an asshole. I am. But, like, I also try to understand everybody. I go, hey, like, Eric, like, I know you. I think you're a good guy. We're friends. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what's going on in your outside world. And you don't know what other people are going through.
No.
So when people literally say, like, hey, it's free to be a nice person, like, it's true, man. Like, it really is true, because, like, I could be the one person. Like, you could have the worst week ever, and I could just say, you know what, fuck you, dude. That could be the last thing that just breaks the camel's back. That could
set them off, yeah. Or you could be the one that brings them back.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know what? Like, I just try and be a better person for the first time in my life. It's just like, hey, man, like, think about others, man, because you just saw how rock bottom you were, and how much people's other attitudes influenced you.
You know what else we were talking to? Zidell and I were mentioning that it's real apparent to me. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. A little esoteric, but it took COVID for me to understand, Matt, that everybody's reality is fucking different. Like, even us sitting here, like, you're viewing this and absorbing all this, and I'm viewing it and absorbing it. We think we're in congruence here. We are conversationally.
Yeah.
But everybody's reality is completely different. And,
yeah.
and I think we maneuver around constantly assuming that everybody else is seeing the world exactly like we are.
No,
and that's a problem.
And COVID has kind of taught us that everything is different.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think too, it's like we lost. Like I don't think time exists anymore. Because we all lost 2 years of our lives, and it's like you go back and you were like, oh wow, 2020, what did I do? Fucking nothing. 2021, what did I do? A couple things.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I think it's like, yeah, man, like. You know, people are like, everything's different. Everything's different, and you have to understand everybody's situation is different. But before, we were all like, oh, we have the same things to worry about, you know. Like, I think social media plays a big part in that.
No question.
I look at people who are on Instagram, or I call Instagram, hey, look how fucking cool I am. Because that's all it is. It's, hey, here's highlights of my life.
It's a highlight reel.
And I'm gonna use all these filters. I'm gonna show pictures of me holding my boyfriend's hand, even though he fucking chokes me, hits me, whatever the situation, cheats on me. But life is so good because look, I got 73 likes on this photo. You know what I mean? And it's a wake up call for me. Is I'm not doing anything for anybody else for the first time. And I think as a comedian, that helps me too. Because I want the crowd to love me. I want them to have a good time. And I want them to be distracted for that 90 minutes of the show.
It's important.
That they are just away from all their problems. But also at the same time, I'm doing this for me now. Like I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it to be rich. I'm doing it because I love this more than anything in the world. And so I will literally try and do everything I can to give people a good show, whether that makes me, you know, famous or not. It doesn't matter. Like, I know my show is very unique. It's very different. It's off the wall. Something that probably Netflix would never pick up. A sitcom would probably never pick up. But I don't care. I'm doing it like therapeutically, and I'm doing it for other people. And so that's what I want to get out of it.
So you believe in that concept of authenticity.
Yeah, man. And because I can tell with comedy, like I can just tell in the first 30 seconds if you're telling a story, whether that happened or it didn't. Or like if you're telling a joke, I'm like, that's not fucking true. And so for me, like the authenticity is everything. I want when you to get off, like when I get off the show, when I get off stage and I meet you guys, I want you to be like, I took you to Matt Lightland for 45 minutes and you know everything about me. I'm now your friend. And it's like we all just partied together.
Yeah. That can be an amazing journey if done right. If it's real.
Yeah. And I think it's just changed my. My shows have always been ridiculous, but that's one thing I've always done it my way. And like I was told my way would never get me booked at the Improv. Well, I was the first guy on the fucking wall locally. You know what I mean? The first person to sell out Thursdays, and like so. I mean, does
money still rule the day when it comes to that stuff, or are there forces at play that if you're not drawing that well, they're gonna? If it's something that's just too off the wall, they're not gonna take you. Does money still dictate whether ultimately?
For the Improv?
Well, the Improv or any of the medium houses.
Absolutely, man. I mean, because you got to understand the Improv. I mean, I love the Improv. They're great to me, but it's just Applebee's with a microphone. It's that's all it is, man. It's a moneymaker. And if you're drawing money, if I fucking shit my pants on stage for 40 minutes and people are paying $60 to see it, they'll build a toilet on stage for me. Like they're gonna do whatever they can to make money. Yeah. Like for example, I remember there were so many times I would open up for YouTube stars on Sundays who have no fucking material.
YouTube stars.
They would be like, oh, yeah, and they would show like 3 videos that they've done, and then they do a Q&A for an hour and a half.
So they weren't really performing.
No, and I wanted to like raise my hand like, hey, yeah, why the fuck are you on my stage? That's my question. Why did you make $20,000 tonight, and I got a check for $50 when I've been doing this for 14 years, and you have 6 5-minute
performing
videos? Yeah,
right.
So it's just. Yeah, I mean, but that's anything, but the thing is, you can't be bitter about that.
No, it's capitalism.
I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah.
There's a market. Yeah. Here's my thing.
It's got to make money in the end.
100%. And if you're funny, you'll find a way on that stage. The biggest problem about comedians in this city is that they're like, well, Matt's always there, and so I'm not there. Why am I? Because you're not fucking funny, man. Like, and if you are funny, what are you doing to get yourself out there? You're not promoting. You're not doing, listen, like.
It's called work.
Yeah. What people don't understand, I would hand out fucking flyers. and be like, here, come to this show, come to this show, come to this show, come to this show. That's what they do. That's what wrestlers do. You're promoting yourself. You have to show some sort of value.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if you can't, and you're just somewhat funny, yeah, you're never gonna make
It's
it.
a business component, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People, it's not a charity.
If you think
not
so,
a charity.
build your own fucking comedy club. Do your own shows. But like, stop blaming other people for why you're not successful.
Mm-hmm.
But also, don't look at what they're doing and try and mimic it. Like, so I do the show called The Dirt,
Right.
and the name clearly comes from
Crew.
Motley Crue. Yeah. One of my favorite bands of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not based off of Motley Crue, but it's very, what I like about Motley Crue is that anything that can happen probably will happen in their life,
There's
at
no
their
doubt.
shows,
There's no
you know?
doubt.
And so that's the way I treat The Dirt. Like, you don't know what you're going to see. And I'm not going to tell you what you're going to see, but you're going to leave there going, what the fuck did I just see? You know? And it's like, my show was like Vegas. What happens at The Dirt stays at The Dirt. And this is a show that if I pitched this at the Improv before I was showing that I was selling out numbers, they'd be like, absolutely fucking not.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, hey, listen, I made you guys $40,000 on New Year's Eve in 2019.
Right.
I'm going to do whatever I want.
Right.
And they're like, okay.
That comes with that kind of intrinsic honesty and quote unquote power of your own material comes with success.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, like I always say this too. It's like, I think Dave Chappelle's the best ever. I think Dave Chappelle's great. But guys like that also have home field advantage because when they go to see somebody like him, they already like him. There's already that likability. And
There's built-in laughs there.
yeah. And I think for some of these young guys that they have this chip on their shoulder, they're not paying their dues. And they're like, why are these guys getting laughs? Because these guys know who I am. They know I'm going to be ridiculous. They know I'm going to be funny. And I don't know.
But
like,
isn't that how it works? Isn't that what that's like a...
well, you pay your dues. And in Pittsburgh, these comedians, I don't know how many you've had on there, but like, you know, you could tell
I've
me.
had a swath.
Yeah, like T-Robe works his ass off. You know,
Pat
Aaron
Tium
Cliver
also, yeah.
works his ass
Yeah.
off. Terry Jones works his ass off.
Due next week.
I love him.
He's been on multiple times.
He's like my big brother, man. He was
right
one that
on.
really helped me.
Yep.
Mike Zidell works his ass off, and then Bill Crawford. I mean, he's Bill Crawford. You know, he's done so much
Trying to
for
get
me.
you on here, Bill.
I'll get him on for you, bro.
I know if DB had constraints on him or something.
I don't know, but I actually just texted him about to plug my Burg Bus in the Dirt too.
I want to sit down with him for sure.
Yeah, he's
and the musical band especially too.
Oh yeah. I actually want to hear a fun
Yeah.
story with Bill Crawford. I don't know if I can tell it, but I'm going to. It doesn't matter.
You heard it first, pal.
We went to go see Guns N' Roses back in, what would this be, 2017?
Okay.
When did they come here at
I
Heinz
think it was
Field?
16 or 17.
2016, 17.
Yeah.
I remember they were giving out promos at a Pirate game. The home opener, they were giving out a rose.
Doesn't that just make all the sense in the world?
I know. It was a tailgate. I remember we were tailgating and people working for the Pirates and Heinz Field were giving out roses with a ribbon on it that said Guns N' Roses with the date of the show. And I knew they were coming, but I was like, this is fucking sweet.
Sure.
So anyways, I don't get tickets because I know that the tickets are going to be way cheaper the day of. Crawford hits me up the week of. He goes, hey, do you want to go with me, my boy, to Guns N' Roses? So it's me, his buddy Stutch, Ray Zawadney, Bill Crawford, the four of us. Me and Ray Zawadney party really hard. And it's Guns N' Roses, so we're partying really hard. And no cocaine, I don't even think that, but Adderall was one of the things for me.
Naturally.
Yeah. So my buddy had Adderall, and he's like, do you want to take Adderall for the concert? I go, fuck yeah. Like, because it's going to be long. Like, I want to be awake for it. And they're time release. So me and Ray drank. We were drinking at McFadden's, and then we literally ate them. We opened it up, the beads, chewed them up, and we were fucking blasted, but we didn't know it because Adderall was pretty much
Alertness.
poor man's Coke.
Yeah.
So we're like coherent, completely fine, but obviously a fucking train wreck to the point where I'm buying bottles of beer that they're twisting off the cap, and I'm fake grenade biting him and throwing him into the pit. as hard as and I'm going bombs and just blasting people with these. And Crawford's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, he left because of how bad we were.
Wow.
Because he can't be involved with that shit.
How you gonna get him on my show? You're telling shit like this.
Well, he's not gonna hear that. But I'm defending him. Like, he was like, oh, Matt, you were an alcoholic. You have to go. I remember one time I showed up on the TV morning show. It was with Chris DiStefano.
Uh-huh.
I had to bring him in. And I just headlined the Improv. I didn't know I had to do press the next day with him. And so I was at the Improv drinking until 5:30 in the morning. And I got a text saying, hey, Chris is waiting for you at the limo. And I was like, I'm fucking hammered. I can't do it. But I replied, okay, on my way.
But you did it.
Well, so I had my buddy, Jeremiah, who works at the Improv, drive me to DVE as if I rode the limo with him because I still had to take pictures and stuff. And I'm stumbling into into DVE, all wobbling. And Randy's like, Matt, shh, you gotta be quiet because they're on the air. I was like, fuck you, Randy. Just blast. I'm like, shh. I was like, shh yourself. Like that. And he's like, Matt, seriously, if you don't be quiet, I'm gonna have to put you outside. I go, you're gonna go out in timeout. Like, and I don't remember any of it, right? And Randy has always been so good to me.
Yeah.
And it probably took a few years to build that relationship back up with him. And that was all my fault. And he always said, it was no big deal, Matt. Everybody gets drunk, but just while we're on air, you can't do it. And we've joked about it since then, because I go on there kind of monthly now.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
But yeah, man, I just learned, hey, man, stop fucking around with that shit. So like the Adderall, don't do it. Drinking heavily before press, don't do it.
Probably not advised.
No, I mean, and I will tell you this is an honest to God true story. I've never been drunk before or high or anything before a show in 14 years because to me it's work. Afterwards, I'll go drink, I'll get fucked up, but before that, I don't do it.
It's respect for the stage too, right?
Yeah, man, 100%. Because also it's a job, and I think about all the people that have been on that stage before, and whether they do it or not, that's their thing. That's how they do it. I every time I go on that stage, I'm grateful, and it could be in front of 5 people. 500 people. Yeah. The fact that people want to see me do something is so fucking cool to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's the coolest thing in the world. I've been doing TikTok recently.
Okay.
And I'm not good at it. But dude, I get so many people come up to me like, I follow you on TikTok, big fan of yours. And I'm like, this is so it's so cool, man, to have somebody be. So
explain that platform to an old guy. So it's just a video platform.
Yeah. So it's pretty much throughout the years, what I've learned about social media and about the internet is the attention span has just dropped.
Yeah.
So you have about 5 seconds to grab their attention to be funny. Mm-hmm. And then it's just how long you can keep it. So I try and keep my videos a minute or under.
Okay.
And it's pretty much just, I do a lot of Pittsburgh reference jokes about how Heinz Field, we changed the name of that. Or I did a video where I went to go meet Santa Claus virtually last year because of COVID.
I think I seen that.
And I asked Santa, for the Steelers win the Super Bowl. Just random things like that. Yep. A lot of, because I want to do things that aren't stand-up related. Because a lot of people will post stand-up clips. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want you to see that.
Yeah.
And then go to my show and be like, I just saw that.
Right.
So I kind of just try and do different things.
So you manage your material.
Yeah. And I actually have an idea that I thought of last night that I'm going to do. My ex-girlfriend that I was telling you about. Mm-hmm. So before I moved out, her mom won a raffle for $10,000.
Okay.
She gave all the kids $1,000.
Okay.
Including me.
How you ended up with the car out there?
What's that?
That's how you ended up with the car out there.
If that car was only $1,000, I'd be fucking. Thanks, Mom.
Down payment money.
So listen, I love their family more than anything in the world. I still do. I don't talk to them anymore. I'm still really close friends with her brother.
It's the way it's supposed to be.
So it's all cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one of the things is when she gave me that $1,000, I moved out, and I've always kind of felt guilty.
Okay.
That I had that money.
All
and I was like, I want to give it back to Justine.
Okay.
But how do I do it? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the casino, and I'm going to put $1,000 on black at roulette. And if it hits, she gets the money. And if she doesn't, then I'm not going to give her it. Because we're not on bad terms to where it's like, if I see you, we're going to fucking scream at each other. But it's more so I go my way, you go your way. But if I bring her $1,000, we're cool.
Why don't you just bring her $1,000?
Because what's the fun in that, Eric? So the idea is if it hits on
course.
black, the $1,000. I'm going to have 2 old guys wear suits and hold balloons, like Publishers Clearinghouse. I'm going to have a big fake check.
Of course you are.
That has like it's going to be a check that says $1,000, but crossed off like $943 because the big check cost me $53. And I'm going to present it to her with a camera crew. This is the first time I've seen this girl or talked to this girl since I moved out.
Really?
And I think it would be so funny. What do you think?
What if it's on red?
What do you mean?
So it hits on black, right?
Oh, but she gets nothing. I'm gonna show up with a fucking check that says I owe you some point. At some point, you will get $1,000. Which it's like I was on the phone with Ray Zawadi about this, going over the scenarios. I go, okay, so I'm still gonna go to the house even if I win or lose.
Either
right?
way,
I go, what would be even fucking better? What would be even better, just for me to look like an asshole, is if I knock on that door. And you ever see the movie Big Daddy?
Yeah.
When the old dude opens the door of his old place. If some dude opens up this door.
he has old balls.
Yeah. I would be, because like, I'm not going to lie. I'd still be fucking crushed. You know what I mean? Like, I wish her the best. I hope she meets somebody. But my first time seeing you in a year, I present you a check for $1,000. Some dude's like, "What's up, pussy?" I'm like, "Oh, cool. Well, hey, is Justine there? Can you tell her to put her clothes on? Hey, listen, here's a fucking check
For $943.
Yeah. So I don't even know if she's dating anybody. I don't know, but I just think I think the idea is so funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's that's what sells, you know. And I was saying this before. I'm not looking to do 1 million views. I'm trying to do something I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
gotta be hard, man. Right?
Yeah.
Just stay completely original. How difficult is that? Or don't you find it difficult?
Do you know what helps me? And I don't even know how original I am, but what helps me is I can't tell you the last stand-up comedy special I watched. I can't tell you the last time I watched pranks. I try not to watch it because subconsciously I'll be influenced by it.
Got it.
And I'll take something from it.
Interesting.
So I kind of just, I honestly, I don't watch TV. I only watch sports in South Park.
Might be dangerous in your business too, because everybody claiming they're getting plagiarized and all that.
But if that's the case, then I just delete it. I would be like, hey, I never knew. Because I'm not somebody that cares enough. Like, because I've had people steal my shit before.
I'm sure.
I've
sure.
had
It's a
people
thing,
steal
right?
my
It's a
ideas
thing.
before. Like I was mentioning, I do that show, The Dirt, and how
Yes.
what I do is I get everybody fucked up. I bring people up on stage, and they do shots with me.
Right.
Well, there's another local comedian in Pittsburgh that saw me do that, and because he doesn't have 10 minutes of material, he tries to fill it with doing shit that I do, and people have been like, hey, and I'm cool with the dude, but real shit, like you got that from me.
Right.
And everybody knows it.
Right.
People are like, yo, that's Matt Light's gimmick. And he's, what do you mean? Oh, that's Matt's. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? And so
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's mine. Like everybody knows me for that, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing I would think would be frustrating us all shit. I mean, because again, there's no rules. I think the first time it was on my consciousness is when Rogan confronted, what was his name? The other comedian,
Carlos Mencia?
Yeah, because I didn't pay attention too much to it, but then I saw what happened.
But
there.
that was something that like 50 comedians knew that he was stealing
doing,
shit from
yeah.
everybody.
Someone just called him out
Yeah.
on it, right?
There's parallel thinking, right? And if it happened to you in real life and it's yours and you make it your own, you're not taking anything from somebody. Now, if I hear you do a joke and I go, oh, how do I make that mine?
That's
That's
theft.
stealing.
Yeah.
And I know comedians in Pittsburgh that do that. And I'm not going to throw their names
I understand.
around. They know. They know what they're fucking doing. And they make money from it. But, that's why I try and do things that are so ridiculous that no one's dumb enough to do what I do. Like, who else is going to jump off a fucking ladder at the Improv and tell a fake Bill
'cause you're
Peduto to
insane.
suck it? Yeah, it's stupid.
Because you're insane.
We just put together, man. I got to get you on. I got to get you on my Burg Bus, man.
Dude, I'd love to.
You know.
You'll see someday. You'll be old someday.
Oh, I know, man. You know, I just found out that breaking the seal is not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's not real.
Breaking the seal is not a thing.
Breaking the seal is not a thing. Somebody, one of my nurse
Wait till you
friends
get old.
told me. She was like, "Oh, no, you had to pee just as much as before. So whether you hold it in or not, you're going to pee just as much."
Same thing shit I learned from Matt Lay.
I know.
Very good. So, which is Burg Bus thing?
So Burg Bus, man, it is the first ever stand-up comedy tour bus in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And so what we do is we drive around the neighborhoods. We go through Lawrenceville.
Right.
We go through Bloomfield, Strip District, Shady Side, South Side, downtown Pittsburgh, and Oakland. And we have designated tour guides who will give you facts, information about Pittsburgh. They make a fun twist of it. And it's cool because it's PG-13 and up for certain days.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, my show's not PG-13.
Don't say.
No, but I am filling in to do those ones. I did the first Sunday, the Sunday afternoon one, and like we were nervous. We're like, Matt, can you do it? And I was like, bro, I can do anything. I just choose not to because it's not as fun for me. But like, I was like, I'm sure people were going to be day drinking Sunday fun day, dude. It was,
of course,
it was all people.
Insane.
75 and up. Like 30 fucking, I thought I was calling out bingo numbers. I'm like, this is going to be. And so I really had to jump into my Yinzer knowledge and kind of be like, in 1933, blah, blah, blah. And it was cool. It was good. It just was a different show.
Okay.
But I have the Friday nights. It's called Friday Night with Icy Light and Matt Light. It's a BYOB bus.
Okay.
The bus ride is an hour and a half long.
Okay.
Imagine if Mardi Gras was on a bus.
That bad.
But it's that good.
Of course.
It's controlled. I don't want you to think like they're whipping boobies out and fucking throwing shit out the window. It's literally just tailgating on a bus pretty much. Like I roast people on the bus. We drink. We have a good time. We sing songs. We dance. It's literally the coolest thing I've ever done.
What kind of bus is this?
It's a school bus, but it is a laid out, decked out school bus. I'll show you a picture. You can show people.
Yeah.
It is my guy, Nick Walker, and his wife put this together. They had plans for this during COVID. They bought 2 buses. I think one of them shit the bed, and so they have one right now.
Okay.
And I've kind of unofficially become the face of it, just because like my shows are so much fun.
And it's working.
And it's dude, I'm telling you, it is like the most fun.
It's Friday
I've ever
nights.
had. It's Friday nights, and it's the coolest thing ever because I love Pittsburgh, man. There was times I wanted to move from Pittsburgh. There's still moments where I want to move. I don't know, but what I do
on 51.
Yeah, I just want to get off of 51, right? But I've never had more fun performing. It's just because I get to show you our city. It's the best, man, and it's a thing going on now until hopefully the last week before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So I'll be doing that every Thursday, every Friday night, and then if the Steelers are playing at home during the regular season, I do the Saturday nights as well because I get all the Steeler fans from out of town coming in because I have that following, dude. It's the best thing ever.
Have you ever done anything in conjunction with the Steelers, or are you just still a little too edgy for what you guess?
Well, so that was the thing. Is like, so I am kind of pulling back on that.
Okay.
And for that reason, because I was supposed to I did the Iron City videos where I did the tailgate, but it wasn't official by the Steelers.
Okay.
But the Steelers know who I am. Like
I would think so.
Yeah, there's players that know who I am.
I would think so.
The front office, I used to work for them when I was 12. It was my first job ever.
Right on.
I hosted a show called Steelers Kid Zone, and I got fired because while we were doing our makeup,
of course you did.
I was like, hey, who's our guest? Because it's supposed to be Plexico, but he was late. And they're like, the other one's Todd Peterson. This was our kicker. And I was like, he fucking sucks. Dude, he was.
Did you
he
really?
Was right behind me getting made.
And you were 12.
Yeah. Because I knew my shit, dude. That's how I won the contest. I remember they had a little sign-up registration thing at every McDonald's. You'd fill out your name, favorite player, your age. And then they would call you to audition. 6,000 kids auditioned at Heinz Field, and they picked 8 people to be on the first ever.
Kid Zone.
And,
I think I remember that.
And then I wasn't good at it, though. I was so nervous, so scared.
So it wasn't a precursor to comedy.
No, but what I will say is I think it helped my confidence
Sure.
to people that weren't ever in that position.
100%.
But like when you're in front of like 1,000 live Steeler fans cheering and like all of your childhood heroes as you're a child, you're meeting them like Cordell Stewart, Joey Porter. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Plexico, like all these guys. Had I just interviewed Frank from McKeesport, I would have been fine.
Sure.
But like meeting these guys and like having and the other thing is I was asking like real questions where like when you're on Kid Zone, the age was 11 to like 13, and it was like he's like, what's your favorite flavor Gatorade? Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like I always ask like, hey, what separates the men from the boys during training camp? Like things like that.
It's pretty heady for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, and like I remember like the cameraman just being like, I was like, what the fuck do you want me to? They're like, well, we want more kid-oriented questions. Like, I'm a kid. This is what I want to know. I don't give a fuck if he eats fruit by the foot before a game. What does that do? You know,
Joey, what did it feel like when you got shot in the ass?
Yeah, right. This actually, that was 3 years later. And
Yeah,
so
that was 2005.
what's
or 4 or
fucked up
something?
about it is had I been on one of those seasons, I would have got a ring.
Wait, what?
Because you're an employee for the Steelers.
That's how it works. Eh?
You would have got a ring. I wouldn't have had one that was expensive. So I think the way that it works, the diamonds aren't real, but the gold is real.
No
but like,
shit.
yeah, if you're on like, because I was front office, I was a host of a Steelers show. I would have gotten a fucking Super Bowl ring.
No shit.
This was the year that Joe Nedney fake got hit and he threw his arms up.
I remember
when Dwayne
that.
Washington ran into him.
I remember that.
Yeah, against Tennessee,
So
and I was like, "Fuck!"
When was that?
2002.
2002.
Yeah. So had that. That was the big year where the Steelers came back against the Browns the week before.
I remember that.
My dad wanted to leave at halftime. He denies it to this day. He's like, I never said that, Matt. You're full of shit. I was like, Dad, you said it's cold. Do you want to go? And I was like, no, we're going to win.
That was Maddox's year, right?
Maddox, yeah.
Yeah.
It was him. I think Fumatu Malafala scored the last touchdown to take the
I
lead.
can't remember that game.
Kelly Holcomb had like 5 touchdowns against us. Just shit all over us in the first half. We were like, what is going on? Like Dennis Northcutt ran a touchdown. It was nuts, man.
How many fucking quarterbacks did the Browns have, man?
I think like 26 since 1999. It's been something crazy. I don't know what's more, how many quarterbacks or how many allegations Deshaun Watson has. The numbers got to be close at this point.
Is he ever going to play football?
I hope
My
not.
question.
I hope
mean,
not.
he might come in and just tear us up. So, I mean, I don't know.
Here's the thing. I don't know how legit the claims are, right?
Not all of them.
But there's 26 of them. Only one's got to be legit.
It's the same principle with Cosby, right?
Right.
I mean, there's
yeah.
gotta be
Like, what was it
something there.
52? Like, there was a deck of cards of rape allegations. Only one. Is this your card? Yeah, guilty. That's it. Like, you go through the whole deck. One's enough. But the thing is, it's like, it's crazy because how is he not suspended yet? Like, what are they waiting for?
It's the NFL, man. It's just make believe.
But here's my thing. If they don't suspend him, how many people are going to protest this league? I mean, there's got to be so many women that are just like, yo, what the fuck?
But you know what, though? In the end, football's so strong. I mean, they said the thing about Michael Vick, too, and that kind of went away.
And Kaepernick. They were mad about Kaepernick.
Kind of went away. The game is stronger than any social issue.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that mixed company, people don't like you saying that, but the NFL proves it. It just lumbers along. It just lumbers along, makes their money.
My dad was so full of shit when the NFL was like, you know, with the Kaepernick with the kneeling, and he hated the kneeling, and I was trying to explain to my dad, I was like, I don't think you understand.
He doesn't.
What
my generation,
for, right?
It didn't get it either.
I was like, I don't think you understand. It has nothing to do with. And he was like, no, it's you're saying fuck you to the troops. I go, he's not though.
Nah.
I was like, but he didn't understand. But my favorite part, my dad's like, I'm not fucking watching another game. Call me at halftime. Hey, doesn't Ben look fucking amazing or what? I mean, Super Bowl or what? I'm like, did you just say you weren't watching?
That's my point.
Dickhead.
That's my point.
The wheel will always keep turning, whether you're on the bus or not. It's always, and they were like, oh, profits have been, they're sky high. Every year they go up. And my favorite thing is, do you know the NFL is registered as a nonprofit?
Oh, yeah.
Hysterical.
It's the greatest business model ever created in the history of capitalism. It's the best ever. I mean, it's the best ever.
Hysterical. So who's not profiting?
But in reality, Major League Baseball is not too far behind because they can actually have teams that have no chance of winning for decades as part of their organization.
And they allow it.
And they make money.
Yeah.
Insane amounts of money.
Well, the Pirates are 5th in profit every year. They're top 5 in profit every year.
And their merchandise sells strong too. The color scheme and all.
Yeah,
the
color
logo
scheme,
and
the
all
hat. Everybody loves
sells
it.
Incredibly.
It's great.
It's just what I mean. Like what a broken system.
I know. I know.
And you were talking about the front office gets rings and shit. I'm thinking, man, those Pirate employees don't just fucking, they don't stand a chance.
I
man.
know.
They're never going to get their ring.
They're I just burped. I'm sorry. They're 3 years away from contending for the division. I listen. I truly believe.
Times that's been told to me through the course of like the last 35 years.
But I've never believed it. But listen, I've never believed it.
Okay,
right?
what's your rationale?
My rationale is every single guy right now that we have potential for, right?
Uh-huh.
They can't get rid of them. They have them under contract for 6-7 years.
They could trade them.
But for what though? They have to show some value, right? These guys have to show some value. The thing is, when one player is going to show value, they're all going to have to be there at that point. So they're not going to go anywhere. Like they're going to have that core, is what I'm saying.
Will they pay them?
No, after those 6, fuck no, they're going to be gone. But it's going to be just like 2013 to 2015.
I hope you're right.
We're going to have 2 years of contention and then fuck off.
But don't you think it's interesting in football, especially now, the player can become a malcontent. And although their contract still has 2 years to go, they can put up such a fuss and be such a malcontent that the team trades them.
But do you know why the NFL's like that?
No, I don't.
It's the only league where money's not guaranteed.
True.
So they're saying, fuck you, I'm not going to play. And Le'Veon Bell was
there's the leverage.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell was the first one to really change the game significantly. But
he made some bad moves for himself.
He knows that. He came out last week and said, hey, I wish I would have never sat out.
Yeah, it didn't pan out for him.
You know what? I understood what he was.
What a talent, though, man.
I know. I understood what he was doing. I respect what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He had the wrong guidance behind him. He had a yes man agent that was like, we can get you money. We can get you money.
Same guy convinced him he can rap, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So
I'm sorry, you'll never appear on this show.
But I mean, you want to talk about a generational talent style running back. I mean, the killer bees, well, we had Big Ben, Bell, and AB. Like, holy, like you'll never see a trio like that ever again.
No, it just they just couldn't play nice together.
No. Well, they all had egos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, AB, ego, Ben, ego. You're not allowed to say Ben has an ego.
Oh, he might have had the biggest.
He does have the biggest. And I've said that since day one. I go, AB gets called an asshole. AB gets called a diva. Am I defending him? No. But when you have Big Ben, who at the time, in Big Ben's prime, around 2015 to 2017, right? Mm-hmm. What would you rank him quarterbacks?
15 to 17?
Yeah.
That's his prime?
A little bit past his prime.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be top 5 to 7.
Top 5 to 7?
I would think, yeah.
Where would you put Antonio Brown for wide receivers?
Best ever.
Okay.
In that era. Not even close.
So when you have a top 5 to top 10 quarterback being able to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Mm-hmm. And the guy.
Yeah. And you literally have the most talented wide receiver of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't let him do what he wants to do.
But he's missing some brain cells, though.
He's not. He's different, right?
He's missing some brain cells.
But my point is, you can't treat one way and the other the other way.
Steeler way. You know, maybe the NFL way, because the quarterbacks have always had an exaggerated.
Right.
I don't know. I believe it's an exaggerated level of importance in the NFL.
And I think that's why, if you look at it, diva wide receivers never win Super Bowls because they're always fucking unhappy with where they're at.
Interesting.
Name one. Name a diva wide receiver that you know that has won a Super Bowl other than Antonio Brown after he was humbled. Randy Moss didn't win shit.
Well, didn't he end up winning one with New England? He
went 17-1, lost to the Giants. Terrell Owens lost.
Yep.
Who was it? You could say Michael Irvin, but I don't think he was a diva though. He just was cocky.
But that diva era hadn't started yet quite
right.
yet.
You know what I mean? Like all those guys, they never won shits.
Yeah, it takes a team.
It does.
It takes a team.
Yeah, it does. And I will tell you right now, the Steelers this year are going to shock so many people.
You think?
100%.
So are you a?
I'm going to ask you: are you a Mitch Trubisky or a Kenny Pickett guy?
My gut tells me that I would love to see Kenny. My kid's he's going to be a senior down at Pitt, so I'm rooting for my son because he'd love to see that happen.
Yeah.
But my gut tells me that the smart play now is Trubisky.
Here's what I'll tell you.
That's what my gut tells me.
Here's what I'll tell you. I don't care which one it is, as long as they win.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to put money, I would bet the house
Mm-hmm.
that Mitch Trubisky is a Pro Bowl quarterback this year. That's with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow,
stacked division.
Whole conference.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Patrick. He will go to the Pro Bowl this year.
You making that claim right here?
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. He's first of all, he's gonna win NFL Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay.
That's a lock.
Okay.
He's gonna go to the Pro Bowl. He's gonna get in because players aren't gonna want to play.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, though.
Phenomenon.
But Trubisky won't play. He won't play in the Pro Bowl because
he's in the Super Bowl.
He's going to be in the Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to finally get their revenge from Tom Brady this year.
Oh, you think they're playing Tampa Bay?
Why not? Who else in the NFC is there? I think Green Bay's shit.
The AFC's stacked, though. It's going to be a tall order for them to get in.
Nah, it's the Steeler way. 6th seed.
I can't argue.
Why
that.
not? Right?
Back
Why
our
not?
way into it.
Here's the way that I look at it. I love.
Why are you so convinced on Trubisky? What do you see there?
I see a guy that led a terrible fucking Chicago Bears team to the playoffs. I see a guy who has the 6th best winning percentage as a quarterback since 2018, since he's came into the league. I see a guy that had Matt Nagy as a head coach who's absolutely terrible.
I can't argue that.
That said, I don't know why we took this guy. Flat out. Did not like the guy. You got a guy like Matt Canada whose offense specializes in guys like Trubisky and Pickett. They're the same player. They're the exact same style quarterback. That's why I'm cool with everything. The problem the Steelers are going to run into is going to be a Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers situation because Trubisky's going to play well and they're going to be, well, what do we do? Do we offer him a contract after these 2 years or do we trade, do we roll the dice and trade or start Kenny? Because here's the thing. You're not going to get a first rounder for Kenny unless he proves that he can play. You're going to get probably a third rounder.
Yeah, he's in. If Trubinsky plays well,
because he'll be 26 then.
He's in a peculiar place.
Yeah, he'll be like 26 years old, nothing proven.
So Trubinsky gives the Steelers what they want over 1 or 2 years. They trade him.
Well, they're the same age. Why? But why would they? Because they got what they want. And I think them showing how hard it has been to replace Ben. I mean, they didn't want Ben to come back.
Oh, no, I don't mean trade Trubinsky. I mean trade Pickett.
I think you have to, right?
Yeah, that's the chip there.
Because I mean, you have to give Mitch money. It's money, Mitch. But the reason why they're going to be so good
if
is
he wins
for the last 2 years, Steelers' offense was not good. Right? Mm-hmm. So defenses would stack the box against him, knowing that Ben can't throw the ball beyond 6 yards. Guys like Chase Claypool,
why did they play him the last 2 years? Why?
Because Ben wanted to go out the way Ben wanted to go out. And listen,
he doesn't own the team.
But and I agree, but it's Ben Roethlisberger, and it was like, what else do we have? It wasn't like Mason Rudolph was like blowing down the fucking house. You know what I mean? And I wanted to see Mason do well. Yeah. I wanted Mason to have a chance at this team. But once I saw we could get Trubisky, I said, get Trubisky.
Yeah.
When they drafted Pickett, honestly, at first, I was like, we don't really need a quarterback.
Yeah.
I thought you could win Trubisky and get something in the first round. However, I'm the guy that as soon as we draft him and he's a Steeler, I'm like, hey, Kenny Pickett's the next Big Ben, Big Ken, Big Ben. I'm the ultimate yinzer.
His ascension to draft worth seemed to come pretty fast.
Well, yeah, he went from like getting 5th round to 1st round to he was supposed to go to Carolina 6th overall.
Yeah,
and everybody because the Steelers threw smoke signals nonstop about what was it? Pat? What was the guy's name? Willis.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
You
were about to say Dontrell Willis.
I was.
From the Florida Marlins. I was going to say Patrick Willis from the 49ers.
That was worse.
But yeah, I mean, this guy, they made it seem like the Liberty quarterback was like the next phenom. But to me, like anybody can throw, and I'm not being an asshole, anybody who played college football can throw an 80-yard pass with nobody covering them.
I would agree.
Cordell Stewart literally has an 80-yard pass in a Hail Mary.
Yep, I remember that game.
By the way, I
lost money.
Well, speaking of which, you saw who passed away last night.
Who?
Charles Johnson.
CJ.
Yeah.
Oh man.
50 years old.
Oh.
Guy who caught the pass.
CJ was my customer. I sold pagers in Pittsburgh in the 90s.
Really?
I had to steal with my clients. And Andre Hastings and CJ were the guys who got me the rest of the people. They were my 2-point people there.
Yeah.
CJ was a solid dude, man. I wish I would have heard that on this show. That is terrible.
Yeah, he's
That was terrible. They say what happened?
No. I think they found him.
Oh man,
bummer, man.
He was just such a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like he was the real deal.
Yeah,
him and Andre both brought footballs back for me.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, from playoff games.
Really?
Yeah, and it had dirts. It's cool. I got some cool mementos from that crap.
You have some cool stuff.
I lucked out, man. Life's been good to me. For I don't deserve any of it.
I don't believe that, and I know the fact that you deserve it just because of the fact that you say that you don't, because you're a humble guy. What's your favorite thing in this room? I'm going to put you on the podcast.
Wow, that's
favorite thing other than me.
Other than Matt Light, my guest.
Yeah.
There's a guitar over there that was the first project I did with Paul Stanley of Kiss when we signed. He was my childhood hero, and then he said, "Eric, take this guitar and work with it and make me some stuff." I made it. He loved it. He played it live, and I would see him playing it live, and that was like the biggest affirmation of success for me. I was like, I made it. Look what I did.
Is that a replica or that's the actual one?
That's the actual one there, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that probably has the most meaning. Money,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some money in here, but I don't think about that.
Isn't it kind of sick when you see, like for example, like Steelers will come out to my shows now.
That has to be unbelievable for you.
It's like, and it's the same thing for you.
It was, yeah. Yeah, really quirky.
You're just like, wait a minute. Like, I grew up.
I will tell you that if you don't know this story, I want to tell you a story that I think you will actually find funny.
Yeah,
My dad made it a point one time when I was a kid to come in and give me a lecture because my grades were bad, Matt. And he took these Kiss posters, he pulled them down off my wall, and he goes, "These fucking assholes." He didn't say that. He said, "These assholes are never going to help you get a job." So fast forward 2006, I signed this contract with Paul Stanley of Kiss and Washburn Guitars, and I called my dad on the phone. I said, "Dad, hey, do you remember this one time when I was in 9th grade, you pulled these posters down?" He goes, "I vaguely remember." I said, "Well, I just signed a contract for like $347,000 to buy Paul Stanley guitars, and I think it's going to help me pay the bills. Not really sure." It was just one of those fucking moments where it was just like, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Never happens.
Yeah.
It would never happen.
Hail Mary, yeah.
But it happened, yeah. So life, you never know.
What'd
Don't
your dad say?
let your kids too far. He was happy. My father was very happy that things worked out the way they were. But it was just, rock and roll is a risky thing when your kids are 10 years old and it's the 70s and Black Sabbath comes around and Kiss. And
He's the devil.
Crazy.
Were your parents like that? Did they think like all this music was satanic?
Knights in Satan service and all that bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I was like, they were like banished from the house, and I went through all that stuff.
My parents were like the complete opposite. I remember watching. Dude,
how'd you get so lucky?
I know. So I remember I was like a year old, and I was watching Andrew Dice Clay on tape. And I didn't know, dude. I didn't like. He'd be like, "Hickory dickory dock, this chick was sucking." Oh. And I didn't know what any of it meant, but my dad was laughing, and I remember these nursery rhymes. So to me, it was so funny. My dad would sneak me downstairs to watch Beavis and Butthead with him.
Oh, right on.
When I was like 5 or 6 years old. Oh, he was the best, man. I was like 6 years old. From Dusk Till Dawn came out, right? One of my favorite movies ever. Sexiest scene. Salma Hayek with the snake, when she's dancing.
Hard to argue that.
Yeah.
Hard to argue that.
You thought I was going to say, when George Clooney started shooting zombies.
No, I wasn't. No.
So, George Clooney has this like ridiculous tattoo. It's like a huge tribal that starts from his wrist all the way up to his neck that turns into a scorpion. And I remember being like 7 years old and my dad being like, "We're getting that fucking tattoo when you're 18. You're going to get it." And like, I was like, "Yeah, okay." Every birthday from like 7 to 18, he'd be like, 11 more fucking years until we get this thing. Dude, like I was 18. He's like, "We're getting it." I was like, "Fuck no." I was like, "Absolutely not."
And he was going Milton on you.
He wanted to go hard for it.
Wow, man.
My dad, he's the best. When I was a kid, it was one of those things, like I'm having a couple adult drinks right now. When I was in high school, my dad would go, "Hey, listen, I know you're going to drink, right? I'm not going to tell you not to. But what I am going to tell you is if you get into a car, I'm beating the shit out of you. If you go anywhere else, I'm beating the shit out of you.
Right on.
If you're scared to call me to pick you up, I'm kicking your ass.
Right on.
So
right on.
Having a little bit of freedom, I never felt like the Catholic schoolgirl who just rebelled because fuck you, Dad. Like my dad gave me enough to where I was like, okay, he treats me like an adult.
Yeah.
He trusts me.
Yeah.
And I never really fucked up because of that reason. And it was always my friends that had to hide shit that always got in trouble.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the world could use more parenting like that.
Yeah. Because I just think like beating someone down never helps. You know, I mean, like, I think in sports it does, though. Like, I do, though. Like, you can't yell at players anymore. And I get Little League. You should never. Because there's no
not
point.
Not that age.
And it took me years to understand that. Because it's like, when I'm 10 or 11 years old, like, what people don't realize, when we're playing baseball through August, we don't want to fucking play anymore. Like, we wanted to play when it started in April. Because,
yes, indeed.
Because we had school and nothing else to do.
Right.
But once summer started, we were like, fuck baseball. Cool, I get a slushie afterwards. Suck my dick. Like, I don't want to be here.
It's hot as the sun out there.
Yeah, fuck this. Like, we're going to, all my friends
middle of July.
Pool. Yeah, all my friends have a pool, and I have a double header at Sharman Park at 11 a.m.
There's a lot of truth to that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's. I think of the years of my son playing those games, and you would look around, and you would see a lot of parents that were there for them.
They cared more than me. Yeah, my dad was like, I hate these fucking parents. Yeah. My dad wouldn't go to my baseball games because he hated them. And I didn't play at a bar. That's probably why he did. But
bar league baseball hadn't quite reached your neighborhood yet, right?
But he would go to all my football games because he loved football. But the baseball moms are the worst.
It's slower.
Well, the moms are just obnoxious. The cheers, the bookkeeping. Oh, Timmy, okay, all right. Now Darlene and Scott, you're gonna run concessions next week, okay?
I hate that fucking shit.
And there was always that one fucking kid who never had a ride anywhere because his parents were just pieces of shit, and we always had to take him. And he never talked. He wore his like grandma's like. Listen.
Never saw.
He never talked. He was shy. You know, like you couldn't even like go to shake his hand. He would flinch because he probably got hit with a fucking wooden spoon all day.
Got no shoes.
He always had the worst shit, right? Always had the worst equipment. I remember this dude. He would wear sweaters, like sweatshirts, right? But like ones you'd find in the like not strip district, but like at a shop and say where it's like rhinestone Pittsburgh that your grandma wears at bingo.
It probably was hers. That's
what I'm saying. Like it was he literally like wore his grandma's shit. But you know what? Those kids were the best on the fucking team.
He loved it.
The guys that wore the shittiest shit were the best at sports.
And the kid can't play. His dad's got him all off with $80 batting
Oh,
gloves.
with the big sleeve, and he goes 0 for 4, and he's like, "Oh, my wrist hurts. I had hydrotherapy on my asshole." It's like, okay, dude, whatever. Fuck you. That's all I'm saying. If you ever
Wait till you have kids, dude.
When you play pickup sports, you find a poor motherfucker, and he'll dunk on everyone.
That's how it was in the old neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid that had the least was the one that could play the best.
Yeah, dude.
That's the way it was.
Oh, you got LeBrons on? Fuck you. You can't do anything. That dude. Oh, you have what are those? Oh, Air Monarchs that my dad uses to cut the grass with. Come over here. What's your name? I'm gonna call you Jimmy. Come on, bro.
We used to call them Trax. They were at Kmart. Remember that shit?
Trax, oh yeah.
Shoes?
There was those. There was Pro Keds. There were fucking.
I thought Pro Keds were a name, but a name.
Not
brand.
for me though. They were, but when I got older,
yeah.
Like I remember, like and one, like those clothes were shit.
And one.
But they were cool because like the and one mixtape, but when they actually made clothes, like Shaq, when Shaq left Reebok, Shaq can say whatever he wanted. He wanted to make affordable clothes for kids. Yeah. Cool. Your fucking logo sucks. Your shoes are at Walmart. No one's ever going to buy them. Right? Like Shaq's my favorite player of all time. I'll get the Shaq.
He's a character.
Yeah. I'll get the Shaq Gnosis swirly shoes from 95, but the one of you just dunking on like a pair of $4 shoes, Velcro, I'm good.
Velcro.
Fuck it.
Did you ever see the video of him in the mosh pit?
No.
You gotta look it up.
He's in a mosh pit.
There's a video of him.
Is it a DJ? Because he DJs.
Well, it might have been an event where he was DJing, but it's a metal show and it's a metal crowd, and he's at the gate at the front, and he's like 3 feet taller than every fucking buddy else.
Get
in
the
this
fuck
thing.
out of
and
here!
And it's outdoors, and he's at this, and he's just jamming,
rocking,
and he's looking around though, and he's looking around like this, and only black guy, sea of white people, metalheads, and it's the funniest effing thing.
I met Shaq.
Really?
When I did that Rough and Rowdy fight, and I got knocked down 20 seconds. Nobody's listening to that part. No, you're not listening to that.
Wait. I think I've seen that.
No, you didn't. It's never happened.
No, wait.
What?
It happened.
It happened. Listen, if you got CTE from it and you don't remember it, it never happened.
Okay, it's all relative.
The night before, I was just I had to do the weigh-ins, right? And so I cheated to fight this guy. The whole point of me fighting this guy was because I wanted to work for Barstool. I never wanted to fight him. Whatever. Dude was 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. I was 180 pounds, 5'5". But I had to weigh 200 pounds for the fight to happen.
Right.
So I put ankle weights on me, and I had a sand vest, all this, to get me over 200 pounds. But I remember walking to the venue. Actually, walking back from the venue. We did the weigh-ins. I'm leaving. And I'm wearing a 1996 Atlanta Olympic tracksuit. Because the fight's in Atlanta. It was badass, sick as fuck.
Okay.
I see this huge black dude point at me and goes like this, like points up and down my gear. And I go, that's fucking Shaq. Now remember, Shaq was on that Olympic team.
He was.
So he wore that.
He was. Oh, that's why he recognized.
He pointed, go, I remember that.
Got it.
So I walk over. He's like, I like your outfit like that. I was like, holy shit, Shaq. You know what I mean? I shake his hand, big as fuck. I go, Shaq, can you do me a favor? Can you cut a promo for me? He's like, what do you do? I was like, I'm fighting over there. He's like, you gonna win? I was like, yeah, sure.
Sure I am.
So he goes right to the camera. He's like, Matt, here's what I want you to do. Take your fist like this, and he punches my phone. He goes, whoop his ass. And it was the coolest fucking thing ever, dude. You know, because like on camera, he'll do that for $1,000. But Shaq just did it. Was the nicest guy, humble as shit.
Wow, that's cool as shit.
So when you hear, like, when I hear Shaq on these podcasts, because you know, you never want to meet your heroes because you're scared.
Yeah, I was afraid to meet mine. It worked out for me.
Yeah, well, for you, it did great.
Very lucky.
But when I heard these stories, I go, I don't know how true they are. I promise you, he was, and like I said, I had a 3-minute interaction with him. But he was the sweetest guy in the world, and I was like, "That's fucking awesome." Yeah,
he's pretty wealthy. He's pretty successful.
Oh yeah,
from business. I mean, he's got it figured out. And his quarreling with what's his name is
Charles Barkley.
It's best ever.
Well, I mean, it's changed the game for sports,
no doubt.
I always said this years ago is what I think they should do for Thursday Night Football, is I think somebody like HBO or Showtime should buy it and do a simulcast where you can watch it on the NFL Network. But they have like actual fans or like good commentary where it's like R-rated.
Okay.
Like I would love to see 2 fans of each team. Like, hey, you know, we just got an update on Tom Brady. Turns out his pussy hurts, and we'll see from the. Like I want because like the Manning cast that they were doing last year was so much more entertaining than anything else.
100%. They won't do it probably because it'll take attention away from the actual game. Don't you think?
But who gives a fuck?
Well,
because it's just like the improv. At the end of the day,
I get it.
If it makes money,
and if you
don't, right? And if you don't like it, watch it on the other channel.
Yeah,
right.
I get it. No, I get it. I mean, the NFL might not want to do it.
Right. Well, Goodell sucks. How
does he survive and stay there? I guess he's making them money.
He's making everyone money.
Look what he gets paid.
Oh, I know. What does he make? $40 million a year?
I guess like $140 million.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good too.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
That's good money. I mean, that's good day money.
They had a contest last year. You could watch a game in Roger Goodell's basement, and you had to bid. And Dave Portnoy from Barstool.
They hate him.
They hate him
with a passion.
He bid $250,000 and won. And all of a sudden, the contest was no longer a thing.
They take his money?
No. But they were like,
it went away.
They were like, oh, yeah, he didn't win.
What is the beef there? Do you know?
Yeah, so he always accused the New England witch hunts. Like, it was like, oh, you're out to get Brady, you're out to get the Patriots, you're a cheater, you're a fraud, fuck you, Goodell, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
Then they snuck in. Well, they got credentials, actually. They got credentials for the Super Bowl, and they started asking really ridiculous questions and, like, interrogating, like, people in the NFL. And they're like, you got to go, you know? And so Portnoy was like, oh, okay, uh-huh. And the next day, the Super Bowl, he's banned from NFL events. He bought a ticket to the Super Bowl and had a fucking, like, curly mustache.
I did see that.
And they're dragging him out by his... Listen, I love that guy. I think if you don't like him, it's because you're not him. And I think at the end of the day,
you're right.
That's it. And because people are always like, what's your beef with Barstool? I don't have one, man. I wanted to work with them. I played an asshole villain character to get a job with them. It didn't work out. There's no hard feelings. I know a handful of those guys at Barstool don't like me. I think Dave likes me, but I don't think Big Cat likes me. I don't think PFT likes me. They just gave me a weird look after the fight, like, because I didn't leave. Like, I was like, I'm not leaving the ring. Fuck this. Like, I'm taking over because the whole point was to show my worth.
Of course.
Not to win the fight. I didn't give a fuck about winning that. Like, I wanted to, but I didn't fucking care.
Of course.
And so when I did all that, I go, there's no way they don't offer me a job. I never got a job. Never got hit up about a rematch. I was supposed to do a rematch that night, and I was like, I'm not.
That night?
Yeah, I was like, fuck you. No, give me more money.
Right.
Like, I acted like I wanted it.
Got it.
So that there would be demand for it.
Yeah,
and people like, you got to do it. All right, give me more money.
Yeah.
You know, or give me a job. Give me what I wanted. And so it never panned out. But those Barstool guys, man, I think what they do is so cool. I
mean, they're trying to take Portnoy down. The cancel fucks are trying to take him down.
But it will never happen because he doesn't care. And he has enough.
Isn't that what it takes?
I've always said to cancel culture, stop apologizing. Fuck you. I'm not sorry. Sorry. If you don't like me, don't watch me anymore.
That's kind of what Chappelle did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, with the transgender thing.
But Rogan apologized a bit, didn't he?
Well, he said the N-word like 400 times.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, one's enough, you know, but, and I think, but also he wasn't like, I think he did say like, they're out of context with how you're reading it. However, I should never use that language.
Right.
Which is, I don't think that's like really him apologizing, but he is apologizing.
Yeah.
He understands what he did was wrong.
You're right.
But he's also saying, hey, listen.
It was a montage.
It was a different time. You guys could clip anything up that I say today, and you could make it.
Certainly.
And I've never talked about like a German person. You could say, oh, Matt hates German people just based off of this.
100%.
Or like Matt thinks people that ride bicycles should kill themselves. Like, you could clip something to just make it look like that. And I think that's
deep fakes can actually just distort it right with computer technology.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just it's at a point now where if a certain group of people don't want you to be successful, and that could be higher ups, it could be whoever, there's a way to cancel you. But if you just don't fucking care and you can get money elsewise, like Trump, for example, right? I'm not the biggest Trump guy, okay? I don't care if you are, don't care if you're not.
I'm actually not either. So.
You know, but my thing is this, is you can take him off social media, you can do whatever you want.
You can't cancel him.
He's still making...
He refuses to be canceled.
Yeah, he's still making $500,000 in appearance. He's, you know, he is who he is. And you're just, if you have the balls to just fight it, you're going to win eventually.
I think so. I think what about just being completely unrepentant?
Yeah. Or just be like, hey, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. So next, I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm just telling you, you're wrong. Your interpretation is wrong, and that's not accurate, and I'm done talking about it.
But Portnoy, he investigates it. He digs
deep. Who is the
deep.
writer, man? There's a writer from
Business Insider, because they accuse him of like sexually assaulting two people. But I think the way he handled it, because like all his lawyers were like, there's no way you should do this. And he was like, fuck you. He's like, I know I didn't do anything. And did he do it the right way? I don't know. But it worked. So yeah.
Where does that stand now? Do you know?
Nothing. Because there was never any like charges.
It was all speculation.
It was just an article saying he's a shit person.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck you.
Right.
I'm not. Like, these girls wanted rough sex. They wanted something a certain way. I reached out to them afterwards. They still wanted to hang out. Why would they still want to hang out if they didn't enjoy themselves?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Did you have a good time?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I had a blast. I'll
Dude,
do
you
it
gotta
anytime.
you gotta wait. You know, I mean, you can't wait 2 fucking years to come back.
Well, I just want to make. I just know you got a lot of people, man.
I'm working out. I'm taking some of the advice you gave me early on about reaching out, and if you noticed, if you go back and look at our roster,
Yeah.
a lot of them are coming from the comedy world here, and
Yeah.
a couple of people that you connected me with.
Yeah.
It's worked out
They're
really
great guys, man.
really well.
And I'll try and get Crawford out here too for you, man.
Oh, I'd love to talk to him. The music connection alone, I'd have so much fun
Yeah.
talking with him too. And I want to get Ray Zawadi too. Now he's in New York, am I right?
He's in New York, but he's gonna be home soon.
Okay.
So he's gonna be home. He's got a show Thursday.
Yeah, if he's got time, man, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. And then also, if not this time, he comes in every 2-3 months.
Right on.
He works more at the Improv than I do, and I fucking live here. Motherfucker. What the fuck?
Gotta get on the stick, man.
I know, man. I'm going to beat the shit out of him. No, he would whoop my ass. He's a big boy.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man. Anytime.
All right, friends. Matt Light.